they can try to go for both. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not that's going to work out for ONIC Esports Indonesia as we are loading up into the match. Currently 1-0 in favor of Indonesia. Will ONIC PH be able to climb back? We'll have to find out as we load into the map.
And this will be game 2 for the franchise battle. ONIC PH going up against ONIC ID.
Franchise battle indeed. It works very well because, again, this is a big comparison. Who's the better ONIC? That's what we're asking here in this matchup. And again, Sasa is back on the off lane with this Lunox this time. I was thinking maybe you could throw the Chang'e on the off lane, but apparently it is going to be the Lunox play. So, yeah, we're going to see a bit of an aggressive take here. Will this work?
And just Jay, who wanted to go for those jungle invades, go for a bit of those information plays, goes back to the brush, you have the shields. Liaknu is going to throw Flowing Blood and doesn't really want it to go in as for the early game. Wanted to focus more into the farm.
Yeah, focus on that farm. And just basically Jay going in for vision it works very well already for their side. Yaknu though on the Alice is something that we've seen previously to work very, very well. And I think we've seen him really perform some miracles, literal miracles on this hero in the local MPL for the Philippines. We'll have to see if we can actually pull it off here because, again, it's so difficult to fight against ONIC Indonesia in the mechanical battle.
Yes, and Razzie is the one who's going to throw an ejector against Hated. They're not going to chase, but Jay, with a good amount of damage, Hated will be going down in the hands of the Chang'e.
Very beautifully done there for these players in the mid lane. I think Sans, even just on level 4, is already just super good. He rotated very well on that Lancelot, going through and trying to catch where Hated was going to go to. Because he knows that Hated is going to play this very aggressively.
Yeah.
He can tell that Hated is just going to go anywhere there's enemies. So I think he used that to his advantage in that exchange.
Yeah, and we've talked about this, that Hated can push away the Jawhead itself. But then again, with the good timing, the ejector, and with that early game presence, Razzie was able to push Hated or throw Hated into their own heroes or base.
And the follow-up on that kill, bot lane kill again for ONIC Indonesia, gonna be taken out. Yaknu, again, Yaknu is just trying to catch up here. He's not at that point where he has items, because the Alice, he just only comes out when he has like 2 to 3 items. At this point, you can't expect the Alice to fight. You can only expect it to clear up minion waves, which is exactly what he's doing right now. So that kind of lowers the power, the fighting power of ONIC PH in terms of the skirmish.
Yes, and they're just maximizing their Jawhead. And Razzie just looking for those key targets that he can throw out. Good timing. This will be a turtle, and they are going in and going hot. Even the Nature Assault being used and Tempest of Blades, but Buds inside the battle wasn't able to survive entirely.
Sans!
More damage coming in. Sans a bit too much, and Jay is going to survive.
That was a very aggressive move there, but they were able to come out on top still by forcing ONIC PH to fight in very unfavorable conditions. Now it's going to be basically a free turtle there for Indonesia. Sans once more on a carry, on a very strong assassin. Also triple buff.
Oh, Jay.
That's a lot of damage done.
Yes, and we can expect this more from Sans. He was really impeccable in terms of playing against or playing with that Ling. More damage coming in as he wanted to take down Liaknu. Sasa and Sans. The Sans combo is into the bottom side. Jay for the backup, just pushing them away. More breathing space for Liaknu.
And Liaknu is going to be one of the guys you got to watch out for still. I mean, right now he doesn't have items, but again, the moment that he does hit those spikes, maybe it'll be a bit more of a favorable matchup for Philippines, but right now Indonesia definitely still
Ooh.
ahead.
Jay once again being caught out, but the mutual result from Rian is going to cook up Hated. More damage coming in. Wild charge by Razzie is going to survive, but then again, they're going to defend this mid lane tower. Tempest of Blades to survive, but onto the top side, Butts was able to trade off Yaknu.
And this is what I'm talking. This is what I'm talking about. It's always going to be a toss-up to whether or not who's going to be the carry, right? It's either Hated or Kyrie. This time around, Kyrie is on the lane, and what's happening here right now is both of them are having such a bad time in the fights.
Yes, and those are mostly the kills. With these Thams, it's already 2-1-2. So they are really making good use of this guy. And even though Liaknu already swapped lanes with Delar, he is still dying.
ONIC Indonesia, head by 3,000. Jay's in trouble. No one left to answer. Another free kill for Indonesia right away.
And not just a free kill, this also opens up a free turtle. And that's the reason why you wanted to ban out this Jawhead against Razzie. And then again, this Valir isn't being maximized out to peel for anyone who's being thrown down. The follow-up from ONIC ID is really solid, and they're going to take down Delar.
And it's becoming so much more difficult for ONIC Philippines to survive in this one. I think it'll take a pretty big effort from the offlaners to make sure they control this. Because right now, the mid laners are having a hard time. Even with Jay on the Hilda, they're being pushed back. They're being hunted down one by one, and it's not working well for them.
Yes, and even though they are aggressive enough just to have those information, it was ONIC IDs who maximizing, and that's going to be Tempest of Blades coming in from Kyrie. Flowing blood into the middle of the fight. Blood owed just to make sure that he can sustain and he can survive, but the damage is there. Gian is looking for more. This Chango putting a lot of damage again and again. Liaknu looking for more targets, flowing blood, and he's going to sustain double kill, but then again, Sasa is going to return the favor.
In the end, it's a free for free, and I think that's the best that ONIC PH can hope for on that top lane. I think they just kind of bit off a bit more than they could chew. They tried to go for a hard engage, but the counter engage from Indonesia was just too hot to handle. And fortunately, Yaknu was there. He picked up a few kills. At least he got some gold back. And so far, it was just an even trade. We're still at a 5,000 gold advantage in favor of Indonesia.
And you can clearly see here that ONIC ID wanted to be more aggressive, but Yaknu with that Alice showed a lot of potentials of being one of the off-tank that you wanted to consider into moving mid to late game.
Yeah, and of course, the late game, who's going to be in favor of the late game? It's going to be the team that has the most carries. And that's starting to look like it's going to be for ONIC PH, right? So
yes.
Right now, if they can make sure that Yu Zhong can beef up, if this Alice can beef up, and especially the Ling, it's going to be a different story.
Steal! Really good steal. Black Dragon form to Delar, but this might be a quick burst taking down Kyrie. Good Tempest of Blades to jump out, but Delar will pay the price. Sasa, Yaknu, right there, as Sans will be battling out as well, but that Alice will be popped off into a snap.
And again, it's just so difficult. If your Alice goes down, if your Yu Zhong goes down, ONIC Philippines will have very few options to hold the lane together. And what happens when your laners are dead?
Yeah.
The enemy is going to take advantage. That's what's happening right now as well.
And they're just maximizing all those rotations. And after that turtle play, there's a big question. They hard engage. I was expecting that after Kyrie stealing that turtle, they can just run away. But Sans?
Sans is taking a lot of the jungle of the Philippines right now, though. The re-engage by Kyrie, by Jay. Still going hard onto the Jawhead, but damage from Trian is just a little bit too much.
Ejector being thrown down against Jay, but Delar will be for the backup. That's the Black
Drian?
Dragon form. Liakno with more of those damage, zoning everyone out. Delar with a good jump right there, but Razzie for the re-engage. Sans will join the fight, but the double kill coming in from Kyrie and the Delar. And Delar is running low. Iakno with the backup, with the back line. As Sans is going down. Flowblood. And that's a maniac coming in from Kyrie.
Kyrie, he is back in this one. I think in that engagement, you gotta commend ONIC PH. They really knew the weaknesses of the ONIC Indonesia lineup after being beaten senseless by Drian in the early game. They knew that they had to hunt this guy down and they could do better, and that is exactly what happened. We saw Drian go down right away. We saw Sans, he went a little nuts, he spammed his skills too early, and ONIC PH took advantage.
Yeah, and didn't really dodge most of the skills coming in from ONIC PH. And Sans, not a bit careless play right there.
Just like that, we're back on even in terms of the goal score. With ONIC PH now trying to push ONIC Indonesia against the ropes.
ONIC ID, they need to go back into their own composition. They need to compose themselves. They need to look for those picks. Can go for those ejector play instead of going ham against Kyrie. They are not successful in taking him down again and again. They need to wait up for Sans to have those early or those bursts with the early items that he needs to secure.
Yep, and securing the early items is something that has, as a 1-1-4 Lance, it doesn't feel like he has a lot of items, but you gotta remember, he was triple buffed for a long time, so he probably has a lot of that already locked in. And now even Butz is catching up in terms of items. Endless Battle already locked in for this FAMS, means he should be pretty comfortable in terms of where he is in itemization.
Oh, they know Peter Assault is on cooldown as they are converging into the Lord. Kyrie needs to move up to clear this wave. And they're going to start this Lord Delar. Going to go for a reset. They don't have information.
Yeah, it's probably a bad idea to just try it right away. Especially knowing that ONIC Indonesia is definitely somewhere out there. I don't even know if they can feel that they're ahead. But I'm sure they can. They can flex on the J. And they can get a lot of information with the help of Jay on the Hilda.
Yeah, and Butz just wanted to go head-to-head against Iyok. The wild charge, coast to coast. Kyrie is going to be safe. No ejector right there. And good play for Kyrie to survive. If ever that he's going to die, that's a free Lord for ONIC ID.
And I'm pretty sure they're going to have a lot more of firepower here on the bot lane because of that. But they want to go for a fight again, and I'm not sure if that's a good idea.
Oh, Meteor Result, pop off. Here comes the Black Dragon form. Delar moving in up against in front of Razzie. Sans trying to destroy Delar, but isn't enough. No damage. Butz will be the one who's going to carry more of those damage. Going to take down Delar. And this is a 4 versus 5.
Yeah, I think Delar kind of overestimated the power of the Yuzhong. And he also hit execute on a different target. I think he was about to hit execute on Sasa, but someone else caught the execute damage instead. They got closer. That's why it's shifted the targeting. So because of that, we are still on a stalemate in terms of gold and in terms of the map.
Yes, they don't want to carelessly going in as they are respecting the damage of Kyrie this time. And they need to look for those better pickoffs. Not entirely as Delar that can someone zone them up. They can go for hated or focus on Kyrie itself. I mean, that's the goal, but then he's slippery.
Yeah, Kyrie's on 13.5k gold. That is huge, and I think that's something that ONIC is definitely going to be able to utilize in this Lord. They're going to be able to use the power levels of Kyrie just to scare off ONIC Indonesia. I think that's working.
And they are also a bit of luckless in terms of using the Mixture Assault. But right now, they are starting to focus even more as Liakno is burning up. Needs the flowing blood away. Butts running low. Kyrie wants to go in. Tempest of Blades catching one. And actually, that's two. Razzie and Butts going down. Liakno with more of those sustain. Jay with the damage. Lilar and Hated wanted to go in even more. Or is it going to be a complete disengage?
The early game lead of ONIC Indonesia's lineup is definitely starting to fade. Drian not hurting as much as he did compared to the first 10 minutes of the game. You're looking like ONIC Philippines. They want to go for that Lord right away. And there's very little that ONIC Indonesia can do to stop that.
Ling wins games, and it has been ONIC PH into the pedal, hitting the metal, as ONIC ID needs to answer this. Sans with that Lancelot isn't really effective right now.
Yeah, and they're really starting to wonder what is going to be the game plan here for Indonesia. So far, they are behind by 3,000 gold. And that's saying something, considering ONIC Indonesia has been ahead for a long time in this game.
Right now, Jay, this will be the Lord marching into the mid lane as Kyrie will be starting things off into the bottom side. Even the top lane is being pushed down. They're going to enter the base. Kyrie, a bit of too much right there, but running low. The Lord is still there. They wanted to focus this. Lilar with the Black Dragon form to go in, but flowing blood of Liakno not entirely jumping into the fight.
Yep, top lane is going to be the next target here. Will they try to go for it? It's very unlikely. And Sans, his power level is starting to really drop here.
Oh, Hated! He might be pop off, but Razzie will be the one who's being damaged a lot. As Sasa, this Lunox isn't really also putting a lot of damage.
I would say that's a great defense for Indonesia. They were able to stop the inhibitor turret from the top lane from getting destroyed, and that is a big win if you're Indonesia right now, who are behind by 5,000 gold. And
Ooh,
Philippines, basically they have to wait for another Lord, because right now, even though Indonesia is behind, they do have a lot of wave clear. So they can defend for a long time here.
Yes, and a one-team fight also can dictate the whole game. So they need to be more cautious, as still they have Razzie, can hostage or isolate someone, but Kyrie is there. 5 members of ONIC PH looking to open the top tower. More damage. They wanted to go in, but into the middle of the fight, but onto the back line. That's going to be Liakno. Flowing blood's out. Sans wants to go for a cleanup. Janitorial duties. And he's going for a big chase, but he wanted to be more cautious as Jay is right there, and Kyrie is around too.
And this is exactly why you pick up the Alice. I mean, even in the early game, you're going to get, even if you get beaten down so badly in the early game, as long as you get those items like the Winter Truncheon, the Lightning Truncheon, get that Holy Crystal, you already have a lot of damage and you already have a lot of survivability. And now this Alice is starting to get into item lock territory.
Yes, and Liakno is really maximizing this pick. Whenever he wants to jump in, they are surely to take down someone with them. So Liakno, yes, he might be losing the early game, but this Alice is really showing up into the late game.
Yep. And the Alice is something you're going to watch out for, but it's not going to be difficult to watch out for because, again, this flowing blood is just going to fly everywhere. Sometimes you won't notice it, and then suddenly you have an Alice in your face.
Yeah,
right?
The flowing blood
yeah,
is
let's see if that's going to be something that ONIC Indonesia can handle. But for now, again, we are steady in terms of gold. It hasn't changed for a long time now. We're still on the 5,000 gold lead for Philippines, and they're probably just waiting on this Lord.
Yeah, on game 1, it was ONIC ID who's keeping everyone checked and intact, but right now they are missing a lot of those catch potentials. They are missing Liakno's flowing blood into the Blood Ode. So they're losing a lot of those team fights. They are being out-sustained. ONIC PH, they can stay with the prolonged team fight with that Zong. And Hated is being safe into the backline, casting even more of those Searing Torrents and more of those Fireballs.
And again, Hated is starting to fall in terms of, you know, in efficiency, but Kyrie is still on the road up, right? He is just doing very well right now, fighting on top lane against Boots as well with Iaknu. That's a free v1. That's a very, very dead Fab.
Oh, Boots is going down as Jay being fried up. Drion is going to stop for a bit. They don't want to overcommit and wants to focus more into the Lord.
That's a 4v5. That's a big opening for ONIC Philippines. Can they make stuff happen here with almost a 7,000 gold lead? Rossi's the only one who's checking this place out, and he doesn't like what he sees. He's seeing 4 ONIC PH members, now 5.
Kyrie is there. Rossi onto the back of the Lord. More missiles popping off. They won this. 16 seconds before Boots to respawn. Pushing away. Mutual Assault. Is there any chance that they can take it? But that's going to be Kyrie taking the Lord. And Sasa will be the next casualty. Rossi is running for his life. They're not entirely jumping in. But Liakno wants to go ahead and take down Gian.
And that should be a pretty strong case for an attack. It's well done by ONIC Philippines. Can they close this though? Find out.
Ejector once again. Wild charge. Liakno. The sustain is there, but wasn't really able to finish anyone out. Rossi being Searing Torrented out. But this will be a tower into the hands of ONIC PH. Lord marching in into the middle. Here comes Dilar for the backup. He wants to push everyone out as the Lord is focusing the base itself, and everyone is looking to take down ONIC ID and ONIC PH. Well,